Now, yes, let's go ahead with the first presentation from the Turkish Tourism Promotion and Development Agency, TGA, that offers online courses covering a broad range of topics from Turkish history and culture to nature and touristic opportunities. The presentation will be led from Neil Turan, developer from Artistanbul, and Simge Canatar, the TGA project coordinator. So with this, please go ahead and start your presentation. Please remember to join the carpet. There you go. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you see my presentation? Yes, right?
Yes. We see your
Amazing.
screen.
Okay. So hello, everyone. I'm Neslihan. I work as the product manager in Artistanbul company. Today, I will be sharing a story with you. We all know edX is a big, complex, capable tool. All instances can be set up to be different from each other depending to our needs, right? But this means that it will bring a new story. Every instance will be a new story. Our story is about languages, but many of them. Because we maintain an edX instance for Turkey Tourism Promotion and Development Agency, and we currently support 13 different languages, and this number is increasing by time. Supporting that many languages brings us some experience, and we thought it can be helpful for some other edX maintainers to hear about our know-hows in this manner. I'm here with Gökçe today in this presentation. I will be sharing the experience from platform maintainer perspective, and she will share her experience from content creator and owner perspective. So here I want to yield the floor for Gökçe.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gökçe. I'm from Turkey Tourism Promotion and Development Agency. I'm the MICE executive there. And Olan Turkey is also one of our subjects that we deal with. First, I will give you a brief information about what we do as a Turkish Tourism Board. We are dedicated to promoting Turkey as a brand and a popular destination in domestic and international tourism. And what do? We work to discover, develop, and promote heritage assets and enhance tourism capacity through communication and marketing efforts. And this platform is also a tool that we use in order to promote Turkey for foreigners and domestic tourists as well.
Thank you, Gökçe. Before I continue further, I want to introduce the company that I'm representing here. As I said, Artistanbul. We are a technology company mostly advertised with free and open source tools and education technologies. We provide installation and hosting, platform customizations, course development for edX for 6 years. We provided edX to NGOs, universities, companies. Thus, we have some amount of experience in many different scenarios. Gökçe, do you want to introduce what All in Turkey does here and about our collaboration?
Yeah, of course. So, as TGA, we offer online courses for our attendees to help them discover a broad range of topics about Turkey's history, culture, experiences, touristic opportunities, as well as gastronomic areas as well. And we have several courses that we publish on All in Turkey, which offers tourism professionals or tour operators or anyone who is actually interested in Turkey and its history. The most up-to-date information and relevant information, because as you know, you can find information everywhere, but none of them are accurate. So we are the source of it. So it is the best place, I can say that you can actually learn everything about Turkey and its cultural assets without having any doubts. And how it works is we have several courses, and after the participants will complete the courses and pass the quizzes, we also have a quiz at the end, are granted the Turkey Tourism Specialist Certificates, which is also like approved by the government, like the Ministry of Tourism. So it gives a strong element for especially tourism professionals, because they can actually use it as a marketing tool as well. And as Neslihan said, we have 13 languages right now. And it is actually like increasing because we have several languages that we want to publish our courses. So it will increase by the time that, for example, I think next year we will have even more than that. Neslihan, you can continue, please.
Thank you. And as Gökçe described very well the project, we are, as Artistanbul, maintaining the open edX in technical side. So how our pipeline looks like in this collaboration? First, of course, we decide, actually TGA decides a new language to be added, and some modules will be created in this language. And first, we add the language on the test instance. So here, it is maybe nice to note that we have two different installations as test and production. We make all the changes first on the test. And if every control passes, we make the same changes on production too. After we added the language on test instance, we always get some missing translations. So we detect missing translations and we consult to a translator for fixing them. Then we update .po files accordingly, and we have also some hard-coded translations, so we update them too. And we make the same changes on production server if everything works fine. And we import the module to the production, and now we are on the production. So this is the end of the pipeline. So why it is tricky then to support multi-languages? Because this pipeline looks pretty straightforward, right? This question had both technical and operational answers. First, I want to start with technical difficulties. We use Olive version in All in Turkey project. The method that is suggested in tutor documentation didn't work for micro frontend applications. And as you know, micro frontends are used in Olive version. And so we needed to edit the source code of the MFE applications instead, and this caused our own package management work. So this is an extra work. Also, there are some customer-specific texts, and they need to be tracked manually. And this also creates some trouble sometimes. And we have to make sure PO files are formatted correctly and working properly after we edit them. It is always something needed to be checked because many people edit them. And last but not least, some languages are right to left and some of them are left to right. And certificate designs, for example, has to be updated between language speaks. So we have to consider this detail every single time we added a new language. Also, I want to talk about operational difficulties. First, we deal with some text we cannot read. So it's not that easy to catch some very maybe obvious mistakes because we can't read it, right? And also sometimes copying and pasting may format the text. For example, from left to right to left. And we don't even know until someone who can read the text can see it and recognize this problem. So it is sometimes hard to detect the problems, and for the same reasons, it's also sometimes operationally hard to solve them. But yes, I think we have to communicate a lot to bypass these problems, but we find a solution about it. So thank you for your time, for listening us. We will be around for Q&A session. And here are our communication channels if you need. Gökçe, do you have last words?
Yeah. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions about anything, we can help you. And you can always send an email to us. We are very quick to send you a response. But for your further questions, we will be waiting you at the carpet so we can have a Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your presentation. Let's see if we have any questions for you. Let's have some minutes. So one question I have is, how many languages do you have now? And are you planning to add new languages to the platform?
We have 13 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we do, we will add, but we have like some prioritized languages that, like, for example, Spanish are spoken in many languages, and like French is the same. And so we have some language lists that we are prioritizing first.
Mm-hmm.
And we are actually in a really good place right now with them, because we have so many modules and they are translated in every languages. But of course, there are so many technical difficulties, because like sometimes, for example, we have Chinese. We have no idea about like how is it read, or in the office as well, we don't have anyone. So we trust the translators, but we also have consultants from the Ministry of Tourism that actually can check the website, and they can say, yeah, okay, it's okay. And then we can actually share it with everyone. So what we do is we always, like, we have so many phases that we go through before we make it publicly published for our participants. But yeah, we have 13 right now, but like, I don't know, sometimes something has changed and then we have to add more too, because this is the wish. Like, some people are contacting us like, okay, you have English, you have blah blah blah, but we want to learn from you. Like, we also want to learn from those modules as well. So we have the meetings and we talk about it, and then we add more languages, and we will definitely add more languages.
Yeah, that's great. And there's one other question here. So do you translate the course content in addition to the platform? How's that process?
Yes, there were different. Okay, we create the module in this specific language. So these modules are for that language. Sometimes some modules appears in different languages too, or sometimes some modules appears only one language.
Okay, that's great. Well, I think we're running out of time for the Q&A session, but again, feel free to contact them in the carpet D at the end of the presentation. Now let's go with the second presentation. Here, introduce them. It's Aya. Welcome, Ayas. Please join the presentation carpet. And presentation 2, it's the course content translation initiative in Wikimedia's LMS. And this session will be presented by Asaf Bartov, Senior Program Manager from Emerging Wikimedia Communities at Wikimedia Foundation, and Ayas Koyarashi, the Growth Manager at Edley by Artistanbul. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Awesome. Esteban, can you see my screen?
Yes.
And I assume you can hear me too. Fantastic. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us for today's meetup. It really is nice to see how global and the translation efforts that are going on in the Open edX community, and especially the enthusiasm around all of these different translation efforts. Like Esteban mentioned, my name is Ayaz. I'm with Edley. I'm co-presenting today alongside one of our clients from Wikimedia, Asaf Bartov. And our topic today is focused on the course content translation system in Wikimedia's LMS. So, quick overview of what we're going to be presenting today. We're going to talk about Wikimedia's need for course content translations, Wikimedia's volunteer culture, a little bit about Edley and Wikimedia's working relationship. Really quickly, I'll go over how our product development works, how we went about technical problem solving, and some really specific questions to consider during this presentation. And I'll be giving you a brief product demo. And finally, as always, we'll talk about what lies ahead. And Asaf, if you'd like to, why don't you tell us a little bit about Wikimedia?
Sure. So, hello, everyone. The Wikimedia Foundation is the nonprofit that operates Wikipedia and its sister sites around the world. And you all know Wikipedia. Some of you may also know that Wikipedia has multiple language editions. In fact, it is written in over 300 languages in varying levels of activity and size, of course. And we have a training need in our community of volunteers. We want to provide good, high quality training materials. And so we wanted to have an online learning platform. So far, so good, but our learning materials don't just emanate from us, from the foundation in English. They are, in fact, mostly created by the community itself, which means by the communities themselves, multiple communities, multiple languages, and not always in English. And if there's a fantastic training available in Chinese or Turkish, we want it to also be, in principle, translatable into other languages. In fact, that is also what our volunteers expect, because on the wikis themselves, on our sites, content is routinely translated across languages. So people do expect to be able to take content that they like and be afforded some means of localizing it. However, Open edX does not have any content translation features, right? You can develop a course in whatever language you want, and that's it. So we knew that that's going to be something we would need to develop ourselves or have our vendor develop for us, but custom development, we knew that was not coming out of the box. And we chose this LMS in the first place, even though we have wikis with excellent state-of-the-art translation features, because we were missing the other features, the LMS features, right? We don't have a wiki that has features for structured learning, for private learner materials, for content assessment, peer feedback, all of those things that do come out of the box in Open edX. Next slide, please. So our volunteers at the heart of the Wikimedia movement, they do incredible amounts of work. Everything you see on Wikipedia, on Wikidata, on Commons is the result of volunteer labor. And they do this out of sheer intrinsic motivation. They just care, they want to share free knowledge, they have language pride, they want to cultivate their own cultures and languages. And so, like I mentioned, translation is something very routine in the Wikimedia movement and in hundreds of languages, not dozens. Those volunteers are also exceptionally empowered. They are used to having a say in governing the platform. Again, very unlike, I think, most customers of or users of Open edX, in that it's not some institution where only staff makes decisions about the platform. With the platforms we run are community governed, which is something we're still working on, how to allow our broader community to govern the learning platform that we have put over Open edX called WikiLearn. Right now that they don't. Right now we control the platform, but we're looking for ways to create roles, volunteer admin roles, people who are maybe pseudonymous, people who don't work for us, right? And yet are the people we're going to rely on to control abuse and spam and enforce behavior standards, even if it happens in Vietnamese or something. So I'm just calling out that that's something we're still thinking about and trying to crack, how to give our community more say, more power in how the platform is governed. Next slide, please. And so to actually build this custom solution for us, we settled on Open edX because it's an open source solution, which is important for us. We use free software in all of our production systems. MediaWiki itself is, of course, free software, right? The software that runs our wikis. So it was important for us to start with open source offering. And we like Open edX's code base better than we like Moodle. we looked for an external vendor for all kinds of internal reasons. We wanted to focus our own engineering resources on our platforms, and we wanted a vendor that has already done open edX development work. And so we chose Edly, and we asked them to custom develop a course content translation for us. So they've also developed a bunch of other things like a messenger inbox, etc. Maybe they'll just mention them. But what we want to showcase here is the major feature of allowing people on the platform to translate course content across languages. We're satisfied with this collaboration so far. This is already in production. And take it away, Ayaz.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Asaf. So yeah, we've been working closely with the Wikimedia Foundation since about 2021. We've enhanced Open edX after deploying it for them. Like Asaf alluded to, we've added new features like messengers, as well as custom user flows, and really creating a lot of autonomy opportunities within their customized Open edX platform. One really unique aspect of this project is that working relationship between Wikimedia and Edly and our approach to feature development. Wikimedia leans on Edly for our Open edX expertise. We have 10 years of experience, but ultimately where we partner closely is on that feature development. On this slide, you can see that beyond requirements, an example of which is actually on the screen, we follow a really specific process to actually develop with our customers. In this particular example, there was a lot of effort put into the wireframing to make sure that everything we built felt really native to the solution. And from there, it's just all about following standard project practices. So let's talk a little bit about the translations feature. For this one, we wanted to address 3 really critical questions. 1, can we leverage and enhance the existing Open edX experience, the UI, UX? 2, how can we actually ensure that content can be updated bi-directionally? And I'll explain what that means when I get into the demo. And most importantly, how can we connect the Wikimedia volunteers to this solution? And so while these questions helped inform the development process, they also put the idea of things like upstreaming and scalability at the top of all of our minds. And so in our brief demo today, I'm going to cover how Wikimedia and Edly addressed all of these questions through the course content translation features. By the way, this guy, that's what I looked like when we started this project. All right, let's actually get into the demo. And just bear with me, I got so many screens open here. Okay, so we begin our journey in Studio. As mentioned on the previous slide, one of the development goals was to leverage and enhance the existing UI. So you'll notice that we haven't actually radically changed Studio, but instead we added in context for our translation feature. At the top of the screen, you can see the ability to send and fetch the translations. And on your course listing, you can see that some courses are labeled translated. And if I scroll down, some of those courses are unlabeled and some of them are labeled base. This is because courses to translate are actually created from what we're calling base courses via the rerun feature in Open edX. And we did this so that we could always maintain that relationship between a translated course and the base course. And you can think of it exactly like the relationship between a rerun and a standard course in the default Studio experience. I can take an unlabeled course or a base course and then click rerun, and that'll actually take me to the modified rerun screen. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll click rerun. A lot of this will look pretty familiar to the rerun interface that you're used to, but you'll see a couple modifications. So just calling a couple things out with regards to the process. For best practices, Wikimedia instructors typically include the language name in the title. So, if this course is called Assess Your Digital Risks and it's going to be in Arabic, maybe I just do this. So for a quick reference, I know this is going to be the Arabic version of that course. And in the course run, I might actually add in not only when this course takes place, but AR or ARB or something along those lines for Arabic. Again, so as an instructor or as a volunteer or as somebody who's administering the platform, we know what this course actually is. Now, most importantly, you'll notice something at the bottom of the screen. You can see that you have the ability and the enhancement to have a basic rerun, which basically is the same functionality as a standard Open edX rerun, but you also have the ability for a translated course rerun. And so within the Wikimedia WikiLearn platform, all courses must have a course language when you create them for the first time, and you select that language from the dropdown, just like here. With translated courses, which are going to be presumably in a different language than that first course, you then go into your dropdown and you select your language accordingly. Now, let's actually take a look at a translated course. So I'll skip over Studio and kind of jump into a course. And so far, you've seen how we leveraged and enhanced the Studio experience. Really, it was just light touch, but it adds a lot of context to what we're doing. Within a course, you can also now see how we are supporting that idea of bi-directional content updates. Remember, unlike a standard course in Studio, a translated rerun is always connected to the original base course. But that said, there are some really important use cases to consider with regards to our translations. The first use case is when new content is added to a base course that needs to appear in the translated course, how do we support this? So think of it as, how do I push content from my original base course, maybe in English, to my translated courses? To allow content on a base course to appear in the translated courses, we have this button that allows you to map the blocks of content to the other courses. And we also have a batch job that pushes these changes to the server after you've chosen to map them. Similarly, on the previous page in Studio, we have a fetch button that allows you to manually pull the latest content that needs to be translated. This is where we're pushing content from a base course to a translated course. The second really important use case is to consider when new content is added to a translated course that should not appear in the base course. So you can think of this as decoupling certain content from a translated course from appearing in the base course. The goal here for Wikimedia was to ensure that, like Asaf said, instructors can make their own changes to translated courses while still allowing for the base course to remain as a source of truth that empowers this whole idea empowers instructors to adapt their content to their local market as needed, right? So just because we're translating from another course doesn't mean that that course is perfectly regionalized and localized content-wise for the translated audience. We also have a feature here, this little blue check mark. This is what actually allows me to enable or disable the content for being available in Meta for the volunteer team to translate. An unchecked box means that we've had our conscious uncoupling from the courses and there is no relationship to that base course for that piece of content. So although the UI is familiar by design, the actual relationship between a base course and a translated course is really technically complex, and it allows for some streamlined content management and content customization. All right, now let's start looking at where the volunteers come in. So again, we've created courses. We're starting to talk about the process of translating the courses. So over here, we are looking at a global community and system that Wikimedia runs called Meta. It's part of their feature development that needed to build a relationship between edX and Meta. And this will answer our question of how to tap into that Wikimedia vast global volunteer pool and how those people can actually figure out what needs to be translated. So over here, I can pick a course, and this is just all of our base courses in the system. And over here, I can look at my translated rerun. And from here, through the use of things like APIs, Magic, and more, we can actually select a base course, see the available courses that have been translated. And from here, I can select our Arabic course. Notice that I can also see, what is pending and figure out the actual content as well. I can click the drop down and notice the side-by-side comparison is showing me our content from the original course as well as the translated course. I can expand further and further, and you can see that in this particular course, a lot of progress has been made and the material has been really thoroughly translated. I can also choose to approve some or all of the translations as needed, see when those translations took place. If I were to click this button here, it would take me to the translated and base material in Meta, which we'll look at shortly. Before that, I wanted to also show you what we call the discovery page for the courses. So this is where we can see courses that are also available for translation, and users can go here to see the status of course translation and also find the specific courses that need to be translated. So I will decide to look for a course in English, and I would like to translate it to Arabic. And notice the filtering down in real time. my list automatically filtered down, and you'll see here that best practice I mentioned where we're including the language name in the English version. That is to be translated, so people will know, okay, this is my translation. Of course, you could filter as well, but that's okay. From here, I can click onto a course to see what needs to be translated. Again, this is not the side-by-side interface, but this is for those translators to actually get in and start working with the translation material, right? At the moment, I want to call out a couple of things. We support certain content types like problems, HTML, video transcripts, as well as things like course names and section headers. And over here, I can also choose to filter down. So if I want to translate any content, I'm a translator. I'm going to look for material that's not translated and click apply. And here, I'm going to see what's left to actually be translated. And I will then click into that material. And so over here, it's really important to understand that this feature allows for users outside of Studio to actually support translation efforts. This is a key distinction in the way Wikimedia is approaching translation, and this is how we, like I mentioned earlier, access that volunteer pool. On this page, which is inside of Meta, I can see the context in English as well as the code, and I can begin inputting my translation. Meta recently added a tool that actually allows let me pick another piece of content. I'm going to actually show you a shorter block so it's easier to see. So you'll notice that in Meta, watch on the right, there's going to be a feature that loads here that actually allows us to speed up the translation process through suggestions. Now, this is coming from Meta, not from edX, but you can imagine that having an AI tool, which is called Mint in this case, it actually supports the speed up of the translation process, because translating tons and tons of paragraphs of material may take long. Having this to assist you can speed that process up. Additionally, this system leverages machine learning to remember the types of changes you're making and then recommends them for future changes as well. So that's the demo that we wanted to show you. But there are a couple other things I want to call out as well. In terms of what's next, well, with the feature developed, we'd like to look ahead to upstreaming. The good news is that everything that I've shown you is open sourced and ready for you to check out. That said, what I've shown you, especially at the end of there, is connected to the Wikimedia servers. So if you're considering this for your project or organization, it's really critical to consider where are your translators supposed to go to actually apply the translations. That is a part of the experience that can be built out as well. Additionally, it's important to look ahead and start expanding the types of content that is supported, both in terms of components, but also the way that content is going to work within edX. With Tutor and the newer releases, we need to consider things like MFEs, plugins, and the overall direction of the entire edX platform to figure out where can this translation feature actually fit in. And finally, with the help of all of you, we can continue to broaden the use case. This feature and the open sourcing of it are meant to be a starting point, not the end of the journey. That said, we'd love to see this become a part of future edX releases, but we can't do that alone. And beyond the translation app, we also have the Messenger app. So this is an example of, an in-application way to connect with other learners inside of a course. We've also created an enhanced course filter. You can see over here that depending on the different layers that I click into, you can actually filter down your courses more dynamically. So thank you for letting me present. If anybody has any questions, we'd love to answer them. We will have more technical folks on our carpeted area right after the presentation, but we'll do our best to answer any questions that you may have now.
Great. Thank you, Ayaz. Thank you, Asaf. It was a great presentation. Let's see, I think we've had some questions, but some of them were answered. Let's wait one more second to see if we have one more. So here we have one question. So how long was the development phase? And well, what were the biggest challenges?
Asaf, would you like to answer this one?
Sure. I think all told, around 6 months, correct me if I'm wrong, more or less, to implement it from the moment we had the requirements to when the features were production ready. But in terms of person hours, I don't have the number with me, but the challenges were several. First of all, this bidirectionality, like the decisions involved in, okay, so we have a translated course, but someone changed something in the translated course, but also in the base course, what trumps what, how do we, sync that content? How do we do the right thing? What is the right thing in such a case? So that took some back and forth. In other words, as frequently happens, the customer wasn't aware of the complexity of what they were asking before they actually, started implementing it. And then we, the customer, were forced to, really understand, oh, that's what it means. If we get that, then we have to decide one way or another. So that took some back and forth, but we got it right, we think. The other thing is the technicalities of how the strings and the material goes to Meta and then comes back from Meta, which is a little too boring to present here, but involved, again, a lot of technical decisions and of course some automated processes, cron jobs and bots and things, which took some tweaking, some fine tuning to get it working just right and to get it to not upset our community processes, because we were suddenly exporting thousands of strings to Meta, and they needed to be somehow packaged so that they didn't sort of overwhelm our volunteer processes. Those were some of the complexities, but I can't speak to any of the low-level implementation complexities because that was Edley, and we were happily spared that.
Great, that's great. Thank you for your answer. And I think with this we will finish this presentation. Thank you again, Ayaz and Asaf, and they will be available later in the Carpet E for everyone else.
Thank you.
Now, let me welcome Montserrat. Please come to there you go, to the carpet area, and we do presentation. So the third presentation is SilverTech. It's a digital training courses for all those over 50, running on the Open edX platform. We at all last year, we are providing the hosting and all the support for this project. So now let's let Montserrat Pose, who will introduce the project focus and all the milestones and the achievements that they have with these projects. Montserrat, welcome to the Open edX Meetup, and please go ahead with your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay. My name is Montserrat Pose, and I am the academic coordinator of SilverTech at Eidos Global. Before I start, I want to thank Evan, Eden, and the Open edX community for their kind invitation to present our project here this morning with you. So I want to tell you a bit about SilverTech. SilverTech is a multi-sector initiative to train people over 50 in technology with the aim to improve their employment opportunities. Why am I saying it is a multi-sector initiative? Well, here on the screen, I am showing you some of the committed organizations. First of all, SilverTech is organized by Eidos. Eidos has an extensive experience in developing learning solutions to help people thrive in an ever-changing world. It is supported by VidLab, and we have a strategic partner, Diagonal, which is a civic organization specialized in the problems of people over 45. We also have 4 funding partners: Accenture, Microsoft, Red Hat, and Salesforce, and 1 sponsor, Google. Let me introduce you to the context of SilverTech in Latin America. In the last 50 years, there has been a great decline in fertility rate, accompanied by a big increase in life expectancy. Look at the figures I'm showing you on screen. We have a life expectancy that increased by almost 25 years. And in the future, this is projected to continue growing. In the next 30 years, population over 60 is expected to double and to get to represent the 18% of the total population. Well, the good news, if we live a long and healthier life, and this means we can contribute to the labor market for a longer time. However, not all companies value the talent of the silver generations. And we definitely need a change in mind frame. And this is one of the aims of our program. This is the situation in Argentina. On the one hand, 72% of companies in Argentina say that they find it difficult to cover vacancies, especially related to technology. On the other hand, we have lots of people over 45 who are actively looking for a job. However, only 2 out of 10 job offers are made to people of this age range. So, on the one hand, it is necessary to reduce age bias in companies so that they can be more open to employ people over 50. On the other hand, it is necessary to enhance the digital skills of people over 50 so that they are better equipped for the labor market. So, what is our purpose? In SilverTech, we aim to revalue talent and accompany people over 50 in the transformation of their career path. We also want to raise awareness about ageism and silver economy in relation to employment. And last but not least, we aim to create a community of organizations to boost a systemic change regarding the employment of people over 50. Well, we offer different courses, and these are some of the characteristics of them. First of all, they are aimed at people over 50 living all around Argentina. These people need to have at least basic digital skills because they are online courses and access to a device and internet connection. We offer intensive training on technical and socio-emotional skills, around 10 to 20 hours a week during 2 to 6 months, depending on the course. We offer a combination of synchronic live classes and online learning through the Open edX platform. And for us, what is important is to offer humanized learning. That is why we offer permanent tutoring and mentoring, including personal meetups with participants. This is the student's pathway at SilverTech. First of all, the interested people need to apply through our website. Then they undergo a process of selection. In the process of selection, they are asked to complete an online form, and they are also invited for a group interview where we assess some soft skills that we deem necessary for them to be able to finish the course. Once they are selected, participants have to confirm their vacancies. And after that, the training starts. First of all, we have a 2-week period of onboarding. In this period, the Open edX platform helps a lot because it allows us to provide a presentation forum where people start getting to know each other. It also allows us to provide some tutorials so that people learn how to use the platform and how to use other platforms that are also used in the course, such as Discord or Slack. Then after the onboarding period, we provide technical and social emotional training. And after the course finishes, we have an employability promotion period. There we offer some resources and we aim to provide the participants with tools so that they are better equipped to look for a job. So, for example, we offer simulated interviews where people can be trained for real job interviews. We offer webinars and workshops. And we also have an alumni community where we share different opportunities. Besides, we follow up our participants through quarterly surveys to see if their situation in relation to their job situation has improved. Well, from October 2022 to October 2023, we had more than 900 graduates, and we offered 5 courses: IT recruiting, testing, Salesforce administration, COBOL programming, and UX UI design. And the Open edX platform has been of great help. In this slide, I tried to summarize some of the features we appreciate the most. First of all, its user-friendly interface allows for a short onboarding period, even for students with limited digital skills. We especially value the way in which you can change the page using the arrows. We find it very user-friendly. It also acts as an organized repository of study materials and activities in different formats. And thanks to Aulas Neo's adaptations, students can send messages to facilitators directly from the platform without the need to use the mail or other platforms. Students can hand in activities and receive feedback in a simple way, and it offers the possibility to issue and download certificates as soon as the course is completed, which is highly appreciated by people who are looking for a job. Finally, it integrates well with the video conferencing platform Zoom, allowing us to combine synchronous and asynchronous online activities. Well, and to conclude, I would like to invite you to contribute to our program and to be part of the change. This is an invitation to join our community and get a free awareness raising workshop for your company staff regarding ageism. You can also take our age diversity test, and we would really value if you could offer corporate volunteer work to shadow our graduates in the process of finding a job. And it would be of great help if you could hire some of our graduates and boost silver employability in Argentina. And help us spread the word, share SilverTech with your community and on social media. This is our webpage. We invite you to visit it, and you can have access to all the different aspects I shared in the previous slide there. Our community is growing. Here I'm showing you some of the companies who have already joined it, and we are very proud of it. And well, finally, I also like to invite you to embrace our cause, to promote age diversity and to raise awareness against ageism in society. I think it is not possible to remain indifferent to age bias, because even if you are not 50 today, hopefully sooner or later you will be over 50. And I'm sure that you will really wish to be appreciated by your talent, your enthusiasm, and your willingness, and not by the passing of time, something which you cannot stop or change. So I invite you to believe that what defines people is their talent, not their age. And that's all. Thank you very much for listening.
Great, thank you very much, Montserrat. It was a great and very inspiring project, and I think it's great, and it was very interesting how you detail all the different stages and different aspects of the projects, right? So I have so I'm gonna read some of the questions. So we have a question from John. What are the soft skills necessary to be able to finish the course, and how has SilverTech arrived at those skills?
Okay, well, we consider in the assessment period, we evaluate if the people are really, first of all, if they really have the time to commit to the course. That is for us very important, because we are giving them the opportunity, and when we give a vacancy to somebody, it is a vacancy we cannot give somebody else. So we have an interview, and we make sure that they are really willing and they are able to do the course. Secondly, they need digital skills, because as it is an online course, we need to make sure that they are able to log into the platform, for example, etc. So I don't know if that's what you were expecting, but I think that those are the two main things we assess in the interview.
Great, yes, that's great. Thank you. Let me see if there's one other question. So I had a question that how can everyone contribute, but it was great the last part of your presentation. I think it's when we come across these projects, it is very important the impact that it can generate in the people, and sometimes that impact that doesn't require a lot of effort from different organizations or the different actors, right? So I've taken the opportunity. I share your email also in the chat, so that if everyone wants to contact you and support you, that would be very helpful. And thank you again for your presentation. And
thank you for the invitation.
Okay. Yes, and well, with this we are finishing the first hour of the meetup. And now, well, I want to thank you everyone for being here and for asking questions and being involved. And then we can go to the unstructured area.